at this problem, this global climate change from one angle, from the angle of mitigation. We look at it the angle of adaptation. And the funding gap is huge as far as adaptation is concerned. So the point is that we are working with the federal government to allocate some funding from the PSDP and also with the provincial government to have a few projects for this ADP allocation in under the Living Industry Initiative. This will give boost to the uh, investment environment for this adaptation and the Living Industry Initiative. Because to move the private sector, you need financing from the public sector because the confidence is then there. And this is exactly what we are planning to do with this Living Industry Initiative and the NAP. And from the private sector, since it's a huge program and require a lot of funding, so even if the private sector is there, probably that would not be suffice. But still, we are working with the private sector to have some model projects. And once we have the model project, probably that would give a spur to the future investment in this program. And areas have already been identified, but with the private sector, we are more toward like the tourism development, like this solid waste management, where the private sector has its expertise. And this is the solid waste management is one area wherein we are looking to the private sector also. The solid waste management vis-a-vis the Living Industry Initiative, it's huge. I mean, we are producing around 5 billion plastic bag every year in Pakistan. And all those 5 billion plastic bag, they end up in the water bodies. And they have polluted this Indus and then to our ocean in a big way. And we are facing a huge problem, especially in the urban areas because of these plastic bags and single-use plastic. Because they choke all the drainage system, the stormwater system, and every kind of the issues related to this plastic bag. In ICT, we have issued a single-use plastic bag regulation. But since Islamabad is a small city, and I mean, you cannot stop the people bringing in this plastic bag or bottle, etc., to Islamabad. So the issue is the sources of this bag and then implementation, strict enforcement. So solid waste management, we requested the UNEP, we requested the JICA to come up with some funding so that we can just start this program. And for this integrated solid waste management, we would be starting from the scratch because in Pakistan, we have no segregation system for this solid waste management. We have no infrastructure for proper disposal. With the JICA support, we installed 2 plants, waste to energy, but unfortunately, both the plants are now closed. Main issue is there is no segregation of the wastewater. And 80%, yeah, 70% of the solid waste is kitchen waste. So they have no the proper calorific value to produce energy. And that is why both the plants are closed. So in the landfill areas demarcated for the solid waste management is also a problem because there we are releasing methane to the environment. Though Pakistan is minuscule vis-a-vis this CO2, but in case of methane, I think we are in the top 10 countries. And recently, I think the UNEP or some, I don't know, but some organization have even issued a warning to Pakistan, not a warning, but a reminder to Pakistan, a sort of alarm that in some areas in Balochistan and Sindh, there's a heavy leakage of this sewage gas, which contain huge methane. So we have all these problems, and now we are looking to all the international donors, to the public sector, to the provincial government, and even to the private sector to come up and help us in this implementing this Living Industry Initiative in Pakistan. And believe you me, in Pakistan, all the problem stems from the water, and it ends with the water. until and unless we address this issue of water, I think it should be very difficult. We are also already water stressed country, and God forbid if something happened to this further reduction in, because the groundwater is going down and down. And that we have seen in Balochistan, in case of Balochistan, even in Islamabad, there are some areas where the groundwater is going down. So these are some of the issues which we are going to address under this Living in this initiative. And I am grateful to all you people that we are here, and we have concern, and we have some ideas to address this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farooq, for your kind remarks. Indeed, it is important to create synergies between the private sector and the stakeholders and the donors to enhance the work on integrated solid waste management in Pakistan. Now, I'll request Ms. Humaira Janzeb, team lead for the Living Indus Initiative, for her presentation on the introduction to the Living Indus Initiative.
Thank you so much, Josefa. I take this opportunity to thank all the participants for giving us the honor of being here. Thank you to Farooq Saab for his time. And on behalf of the United Nations system and the Living Indus, I'd also like to thank Honda and UNEP for their support to the integrated solid waste management stream that we're currently working on, but also to the broader Living Indus framework, which is an umbrella initiative under which the integrated solid waste management work fits in. So I'm just going to give a very brief synopsis on the Living Indus program, because I think some of the participants in the room and virtually must have heard this presentation before, but there might be some that have not. So just to bring everyone on board with the Living Indus initiative, this is the sort of the scheme of the presentation, the significance of the Indus, the introduction to the initiative, and the ongoing work for restoration under the Living Indus. So I don't think I need to go into a lot of detail on why the Indus River system is important to Pakistan and its ecology and its sustainability, as most of you must be aware of this already. But if we keep a basic consideration in mind, we all know that Pakistan's ecology, its sustainability depends on two main weather systems. One are the glaciers, and the other are the monsoons. And we know that centuries ago, both of these weather systems were stable, they were reliable, they were predictable. But now, when we speak of the situation, it is no longer reliable, it is no longer predictable, and we cannot continue to use the trends from the past to determine what the future holds. So because of this unpredictability and the sporadic nature of the weather events that we're facing right now, we've been through the floods of 2022, we're going through a heat wave just recently, and who knows that these floods might happen again. So this is the kind of impact that we're looking at, speaking of the unpredictability of the monsoons and the glaciers. And we know that the Indus is one of the most vital natural ecosystems for Pakistan, because 90% of our people and our economy resides within the Indus Basin. More than 80% of Pakistan's arable land is irrigated by the waters of the Indus, and 9 out of our 10 largest cities in Pakistan are situated within 50 kilometers or less of the waters of the Indus, with the exception of Quetta. And there might be questions on how the Living Indus initiative is addressing the issues in Balochistan. But there are other programs that we're working on to address those issues. But most of Pakistan is dependent on this. And we know that the Indus is the backbone of our civilization. It has supported this civilization and the country that we're living in, what we call Pakistan, for more than 5,000 years. But really, I mean, the question today for us is that the Indus has been supporting us for so long. But given its current shape and the challenges that it faces, is it going to be able to sustain us for the next 100 years? That's the question that we all need to ask ourselves. And we all know that Pakistan is within the largest floodplains of the world. We are in the top 10 And now is the time to act, really. I mean, this is an issue of today. We need to act now. We do not have the time to wait. So we must adapt. And this is just a graph of the situation of the floods, a comparison from 2010 to 2022. It's self-explanatory. You can see the scale of devastation that the 2022 floods have brought in. And so these are the kind of challenges that we're looking at. We're looking at, of course, water security. We're looking at degraded ecosystems. We're looking at a lack of resources. There's increased pollution and, the solid waste management issues that Farooq Saab touched upon. And of course, I mean, if our waters are polluted, we cannot really say that, we have a healthy basin or we have a healthy ecosystem. And then, of course, it has impacts on our health, on our economy, and so on and so forth. And the last challenge is, of course, the poor planning. Sort of the government and our own plannings are in disarray. And then if you look at the year 2023, just look at that. I mean, we don't even have to see this. We know what we're going through right now with the rising temperatures. And then this is just a slide to say if the Indus could speak to us, I mean, I've gone through this before. If it could tell us what it's going through, it would be a lot of challenges. So we're looking at a demographic challenge, an economic challenge, an existential threat, an ecological challenge, and various challenges. So now what is the Living Indus initiative? Basically, the Living Indus program is a response of the United Nations system and the government of Pakistan to the triple planetary crisis that Pakistan and, the entire globe faces right now. So we're looking at pollution, we're looking at climate change, we're looking at biodiversity loss. It's an umbrella initiative, it is a call to action, and it entails within it a set of 25 interventions that in another slide you're going to see those. And the main objective of this program is to look at the ecological restoration of the Indus Basin, to turn around what the Indus currently is, to bring it back to its original shape, which of course, I mean, it's a large undertaking, but we're looking at this program that stretches to another 10 to 15 years. It's a strategy, it's a big plan. It really is an inspiring big strategy and plan. So this is the sort of vision that we're looking at. And it flows from two sources, of course. One is the poor health of the basin that we all know currently. I've spoken of the challenges. It is degraded, there's pollution, there's waste, there's effluence, there's, the water quality, there's water scarcity. So there's many challenges. So one is the poor health of the basin, and then there's a growing demand. So this entire program has come around after a series of rigorous consultations at all levels of the society. So we have, spoken with the government at all levels, the departments, the communities, activists, think tanks, experts, and the culmination has really followed a whole of society approach. And nowhere that we've gone, we've had to face the issue of anyone challenging the concept of the Living Indus, because everybody is aware of the water issues that they're facing on a domestic level or on any other level. So it is the growing demand for action that comes from the communities, most importantly. And so, yes, it's an umbrella initiative. It is really a framework for the government. It's a strategy. Within it falls 25 interventions, and these are in line with global best practices. We're looking at a quantum of money of between 11 to $17 billion. And some might think that this is a big amount, but really, given the challenges of our irrigation systems, and the kind of step change that we're looking to bring around through this Living Indus initiative, some might even say that this is not enough money. So we're looking at between 11 billion to 17 billion over the next 10 to 15 years. And like Farooq Saab mentioned, the Ministry of Climate Change and us together, we're looking at all sorts of financing sources and avenues to bring together the private sector, to bring together the non-traditional unconventional sources of financing. We're even looking at sources like philanthropy, impact investments. Of course, we're looking at the big funds. We're looking at the vertical funds, the GCFs, JEFs, the bilaterals, and all of that to bring in together this money that we require in the next 10 to 15 years to bring about this big change that we're talking about. And so and my team, they're here. Faisal is sitting right there. Faisal, if you could just raise your hand. Faraz is in the back. Faisal is the project development specialist. Faraz is the knowledge management specialist. I'm the supervisor and more of the team manager. So we're based within the Ministry of Climate Change. We're working together with Farooq Saab on this Living Indus program. This was the ask of the Ministry of Climate Change to bring in technical experts from the UN to support the ministry in taking forward the implementation of this Living Indus initiative. And so just quickly, these 25 interventions that I've spoken about, they fall across these key thematic areas. There are these 11 key thematic areas. So there's governance, there's pollution, there's finance, livelihoods, there's biodiversity, of course, agriculture, forestry, groundwater, communication, and awareness. And the larger the block is, the more the weight of the interventions is towards this particular thematic area. And these are the 25 interventions. And like Farooq Saab mentioned, the government has prioritized 8 interventions, not because the others are not important, but because we have to start somewhere. So we've prioritized the 8 highlighted ones that you see on top are the ones that the government has prioritized, and the Living Indus team, together with UN and non-UN agency experts, have already started work on these. We've developed the initial drafts of the implementation plans for these 8 priority areas, and the rest are the 25. They're all the 25 interventions. So this is the kind of, I don't know how many of you have seen the Living Indus prospectus, but if you haven't, I really encourage you to have a look at it. It is extremely inspiring. It is beautiful. It has very good pictures, very good a narration of how we've come about this Living Indus initiative. And if you see this legend, this is placed against each of the 25 interventions, and it's sort of it gives you the parameters that that particular intervention is looking at. So it gives you the title, it gives you the location, it tells you what SDGs that intervention is contributing to. It also gives you how much it is in terms of the priority that it holds. It shows you the time frame, and it shows you the community meter, shows you the level of community engagement that we're looking at. It also shows you the NDCs that it contributes to, and the total cost, whether we're looking for public-private partnership, and so on and so forth. So I'd encourage everyone to look at we have a portal that my colleague Faraz has worked on. It goes by www.livingindus.com. And, our partners can register on it, and they can also bring in the work and show their work that they're doing on climate within that portal. So just in terms of the ongoing initiatives, the Living Indus, like I said, it's a very broad framework. Some might question as to why the Recharge Pakistan or why NAP is within the Living Indus. But the Living Indus is a framework. It's a large framework. It's a strategy. And whatever key interventions we have with the government of Pakistan or otherwise, they do fall within the Living Indus program, within its umbrella. They contribute to it. So my colleague Arshad Saab is also here from the NAP team. He's the lead of the National Adaptation Plan, which is, the NAP and the Living Indus, they complement each other, and we're working together. They're also supported by UNEP, and so is the Living Indus team. So that is one of the key programs that falls within the Living Indus. Then we have the Recharge Pakistan from WWF. Of course, you must have heard about it. We have one of the adaptation fund programs that goes by the name of SAFER. The concept of that is approved. And then we have a Nareri Lake, that is a lake in Sindh that we're looking to work on. And we have the so on and so forth. If you look at the integrated solid waste management stream that currently Honda is here for his scoping visit. So that is one of the things that is under the Living Indus. And then we, of course, provide technical support to the Ministry of Climate Change and the PC1s that they're developing, and two of those also fall under the Living Indus. And currently, we're talking to GIZ to take those forward. The Living Indus initiative has also won a flagship award, World Restoration Award. It is one out of the 7 flagships that has won an international award. So that is really indicative of the fact how this program is close to not only Pakistan, but also it is, it is important to the global actors. So the award has been given by UNEP to FAO for the Living Indus program. So this is the portal that I was talking about. You must see this. So we have very nice interactive maps. One of our key partners besides SDPI, thank you, Zainab, and thank you, Abid Suleri Saab. He's going to come later, but thank you so much for all the great support that you guys have provided. SDPI is one of our most important technical implementing partners that is supporting the Living Indus in so many initiatives. So I'm really, really grateful to SDPI for their help. And then we have International Water Management Institute also, Dr. Mohsin Hafiz, some of you might be aware of him. He's also supporting some of the key interventions within the Living Indus. So they've also provided us, IMI, it's a technical organization, they're a scientific organization. So they've also provided us some of the great maps, interactive maps of Pakistan, and you'll be able to see them in the portal that I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's it for the Living Indus program. I hope that you all are now more aware of it. And if there are any questions, I'm very happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mehra, for highlighting. Thank you, Ms. Mehra, for highlighting the importance and the interventions of the Living Indus initiative in the backdrop of environmental challenges faced by the country. We look forward to collaborate with you and urge all the stakeholders to collaborate in their respective capacities. And congratulations on getting the World Flagship Restoration Award. It definitely advocates for the quality of work being done under the initiative. With this, I'll move on to Dr. Shunichi Honda. Dr. Honda joined the International Environment Technology Center of UNEP in May 2015. Prior to joining UNEP, he was a senior officer in the Ministry of Environment, Japan. His contributions to the international programs on waste management include significant contributions to the Compliance Committee for the implementation of Basel Convention, contributions to the Expert Working Group on the Environmentally Sound Management, Asia e-waste projects implemented under Basel, Asia Network for Prevention of Illegal Transboundary Movements of Hazard Waste, etc. He drafted the Basel Convention technical guidelines for the environmentally sound management of mercury wastes. He is recognized as one of the key negotiators for the Article 11 mercury wastes of the Minamata Convention during its negotiations. I request Dr. Honda for the introduction to the waste management project.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction. So good afternoon, everyone. So this is Honda speaking. So I work for the United Nations Environment Program. I belong to the Unit for Waste Management of UNEP. So my office works for waste management at global, regional, and national level. So today I'd like to share 3 points how UNEP works for waste management. But before that, I'd like to remind you the one point that the waste management is our daily life. Because, for example, we are now using so many products, and we need to continue consuming food, everything. But after we stop using any products, those become waste. So that is waste management is our daily life, but our problem, not the others. So our problems. For the UNEP, let me share three level of the activities. One is that recently, so UNEP has launched the Global Waste Management Outlook 2 just a few months ago, which is UN flagship report on waste management. And then you can see, or if you access that document on the website, easy to find one, you can see the whole picture of waste management in around the world, as well as the possibility how we combat mismanagement to environmental sound management of the waste, and how we can advance environmental sound management of waste to part of the circular economy towards zero waste. That is our concept to develop such UN flagship report on waste management. In addition to this flagship report, also we launched Global e-waste monitor in collaboration with UNITA and ITU. So also this was one of the important issue to combat electronic waste, because instead of using papers, I am using smartphones, PCs, mouse, keyboard. I don't have any papers on my desk. But unfortunately, I have to buy those gadgets regularly. So then we dispose of huge amount of e-waste. So we occasionally produce such report. So global e-waste monitor this time. Also around several years ago, also we produced Asian e-waste monitor. So we are going to continue working on this issue with the countries. The second point is the national level, because our responsibility is to work for the UN member states, in particularly the national government and the municipalities. So our part is to support municipalities on waste management. As probably we have some discussion today, we support the national and local governments to develop, operationalize, implement waste management strategies. So for last several years, we have been working with Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, India, Myanmar, Maldives, as well as Tanzania, Kenya, Lesotho, Comoros, and Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, to develop, implement, operationalize national and city waste management strategies. This time, we'd like to work with you in Pakistan here to support national and local governments to develop strategies or to operationalize strategies if you have. To implement strategies, because waste management cannot be solved just one night, 1 year, few years. It is like a long times issue, so we need to make sure to develop strategy first, then to implement one by step to achieve strategies. Then eventually, after 10 years, 15 years, we would be able to improve our issue on waste management. So we are here to work with you to implement or towards improving waste management by introducing, implementing strategies at the national and the local level, which is also part of the integrated solid waste management. So we focus on not just one waste stream, but also we try to see integrated approach on among different kinds of the waste. The third point is that the one priorities at global and national level. As Farouk mentioned, so we are using in Pakistan 5 billion single-use plastics. After using single-use plastic with a bag, unfortunately, almost all the plastic bags are disposed of to somewhere else, or just throw away. Then, the plastic is very durable, so plastic may remain, let's say, forever, let's say 200 years, 300 years, beyond our generations. So now it is causing lots of environment issues beyond our generations. And this is one of the global priorities. And now the UN member states the countries have been negotiating a new convention on plastic pollution. Then UNEP provides the secretariat function for negotiation. So we are going to organize last negotiating meeting in November this year. Then hopefully we would be able to know what the parties to new convention should implement. But at this moment, we don't know yet. Then for time being, in terms of the plastic waste management, so we would like to also work with you to take some actions against plastic waste pollution. But I'd like to see different way, because the plastic is durable, which means that it might be possible to recycle plastic if we properly collect, properly segregate, and properly introduce some simple take to recycle. Then for coming years, we'd like to support small and medium enterprises. As Faruk mentioned, the private sector will play key importance in this area as well, in particular plastic recycling, because we see that after a new convention enters into force, Pakistan and other countries need to do something for plastic waste management, including recycling. So that means, at least my personal view is that I see it would be huge business potential to do recycling actions in coming years. But at this moment, we don't know yet how we enter into that area, in particular how small and medium enterprises can enter into that area. But this is the reason why UNEP, with you, would like to start the project basis for coming years, how to operationalize such opportunities, or how to take that opportunities into our economy. Then, in that case, we may be able to also strengthen our possibility to shift, as I mentioned, waste management, risk management of waste, in particular plastic, to at least environmental sound management of plastic waste. And eventually, if such business sector or private sector start their recycling business, which triggers circular economy from the bottom or downstream waste management side. So that is the reason why UNEP, at least my team is here, also to work with you. So I look forward for initiating such project activities, and I look forward for working with you to change the current situation, in particular plastic pollution. So that's all from me today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Honda, for highlighting the work of UNEP in managing the solid waste globally. With this, now I'll give the mic to Ms. Zainab Naeem, Associate Research Fellow and the Head of Program on Ecological Sustainability and Circular Economy at SDPI, for her scene-setting remarks and the moderated roundtable discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uzefa, and I'm really grateful to all the participants and the speakers who have joined us today, especially the Living in this team, and Farooq Saab for representing and taking ownership of this entire initiative, and Dr. Honda, of course. We are very grateful for having you here and finally taking this initiative. So I'll not take much time, just the scene setting, the context of solid waste management. I think Farooq Saab has already highlighted, Dr. Honda has already highlighted what's needed and what's happening and what is the objective of the scoping mission. But just to set the context, annually, Pakistan is producing 49.6 million tons of solid waste, and which is rising by 2.4% as per the latest data that we have been able to get our hands on. And then 9% of that solid waste is plastics. But around 70% of that plastic waste is mismanaged. So as per the Plastic Manufacturers Association, almost 5.5 kilograms in Pakistan. And then we are also importing plastic waste, and annually it's 1,070 kgs approximately per year that we are importing. So already the solid waste sector is suffering. We do not have waste at source sorting mechanism. So we are not able to recognize or even get our hands on the actual data, how much and what type of plastic is actually being produced at consumer level. We might have data by the industries, of course, but at consumer level, how much plastic is being used by each consumer, what type is being used, that data still a question mark. Apart from that, so the plastic waste management, as far as the strategies are concerned, we have solid waste guidelines in place. EPA is the enforcement agency that makes sure that those guidelines are being met. We do have hospital waste management guidelines as well, but for specifically managing plastics, we do not have any guidelines. And also, in context of waste management, we do not have any national level strategy or document with us that can tell us about how the waste, solid waste, should be managed nationally. Apart from that, it is also a provincial subject, of course. So if I talk about Punjab, we have waste management companies in Lahore, we have in Rawalpindi, but after the recent investors waste management roadshow that was conducted by the Punjab government, some of the companies are being put into place in different cities like Faisalabad, like Sialkot, Gujranwala. So we might see some maybe some progress there in the near future. But as of now, the waste management strategy is not there, and that's why the waste management system has been suffering. So this is a brief context. With this, I'll now start the moderated discussion with the participants. I think taking the point of what Dr. Honda has mentioned already regarding the e-waste. So we have Ms. Mevish here, who's representing Jazz Pakistan. Mevish, although for the solid waste we have other participants, but specifically in context of e-waste and also Jazz being a member of Core Alliance, what are the priorities? And what are the policy regulations or reforms that you think, being a Jazz representative, should be there to support e-waste management in Pakistan?
Yeah.
Over to you.
Thank you so much, Zainab, for this great question. Actually, e-waste, the concept of e-waste is quite new in Pakistan in terms of implementation. And we are very fortunate that we have addressed this issue, because being a telecom operator, our major footprint is the network batteries. Although they have the lifespan of 5 to 7 years, but after that time period, they are either repaired or they have to discard, and they will be picked up by a third party who are actually practicing those informal recycling or reuse practices. So we have this international commitment in which we have to support the concept of circular economy in the telecom sector. But unfortunately, there is no established, you can say, the guidelines or the policies around this subject, because we want to contribute into that. But we don't have any pathway to address this issue for now. So what we have done at our end is that we are looking forward to those private sectors or the startups to collaborate with them and at least start from somewhere. One form of e-waste are the mobile devices as well. So we are in active collaboration with Samsung, and we have this recycling company run by Dr. Zile Mariam, and we are also collaborating with them to find out what are the solutions to tackle with this issue. Even though it's not our footprint, we are not the device, we don't sell the devices, but because telecom is linked to devices, so we want to tackle that issue also. But there is no clear guidelines. So what, as an alternate, we do is that we follow the international commitments, which are run by GSMA, which is a global system for mobile communication body. And under that, we have some pledges in which we are trying our best not to send our waste to the landfills and introduce circular economy in our business operations. But it is at the very starting level, because we don't have any national infrastructure to tackle this issue. So we are actually struggling with that thing. Yeah.
Just to put the record straight, we have, yes, hazardous waste management policy. And that was done exactly to address this issue of batteries and this electronic equipment. It's a very good policy. Just go through it.
Thank you so much. I have that in, yeah, I have gone through that. But again, policies are the guiding documents. We need implementing frameworks also. So that is a limiting factor that Pakistan is struggling right now. We have wonderful policies, but when it comes to implementation, it's very unfortunate that we don't have any solid framework to work on those problems. Yeah.
My name is Sadat Ali, and I'm representing Project Procurement International. We have developed the standard operating procedures for Government of Punjab, for P&D department, for e-waste management. And also we have done the consultancy for e-waste management in Papua New Guinea. So, the problem with the e-waste management is that it is mostly run by the informal sector. There is no industry who is taking, although there is a lot of advantages if the formal sector is involved in this. So let's see.
Thank you so much. So I'll now request Ms. Rija Tayyab. So Mavish, your point is well taken, but and you are absolutely correct in context of collaboration with the startups and SMEs, of course, and you're working. But Sadat Saab and Farooq Saab has mentioned we have National Hazardous Waste Management Policy that was notified, I believe, in 2022, and also we have these guidelines by Procurement Department. So I think one thing that we are lacking at the moment is that all of us are doing excellent work, but that's in silos. So through these kind of dialogues, we would like to collaborate more and to have more discussion on how things can be, integrated for a collective action. So thank you. I'll be coming back towards you again after after other participants. So Rija is representing Roshan Packages Limited. Rija, because you're representing the industry, the sector, the packaging industry. So my question is, firstly, what initiatives are you guys taking to manage this issue of plastics and waste management? And also, what policy reforms you think are needed to strengthen the overall framework and compliance for addressing the challenge? Over to you, Rija. Rija, you are on mute. Are you connected now? You are on mute.
Hi Zainab, are you speaking to me?
Yes, I'm asking
Sorry.
you because you are representing the industry and packaging industry. Firstly,
Mm.
what initiatives are you guys taking to address the challenge around plastics and waste management? And what sort of reforms do you think are needed? The support from public sector is needed for the industry to, strengthen the action around plastics waste management. Over to you, please.
Sure, Zainab. Thank you for the question. I mean, it's always, great to be at STPI's events and sort of get our point across. I mean, firstly, in terms of plastics, where we can, we are doing our best. So we're able to recycle all of our industrial waste. So we have a flexible packaging factory, and, we have some big MNC customers. And for them, we're able to, recycle our waste. They go into shoe soles that they're able to make out of them. The Raz asked us for recycled courier bags. We were able to give them 80% recycled courier bags. But really the issue is not actually industrial waste because, there's already a market for it. There's already even smaller startups coming to us and asking us for it. So that I think is not the issue. I mean, it becomes, post and consumer waste in terms of, again, collection, segregation, and then getting it back to us. So That's really where we see the challenge and where we do need, and we've been saying we need the government to really act on it. So whether it's segregation at source would be ideal for, I think, everybody in the industry, because frankly we have the demand for recycled plastics. We want to do all of these things, but again, we're not collectors, and it would be hard for us to become collectors. In that sense, that would be a totally different industry we would be going into. So segregation at some level would be great for us. And then there's the other issue of, the unregulated sector that comes into being, where then because of that, there's some market inefficiencies, because of which we are then paying a higher price. Or for example, I can say in the corrugation industry, where we do sort of get waste from third parties or these smaller informal sectors, we know that it would be cheaper if it was a bigger player or the government actually doing the collecting, and we could do the buying from them. But really, because there's so many third parties involved, it gets really difficult. So, even when we do have, startups reaching out to us for waste, our answer is always, our post industrial waste is being used. With post consumer, it needs to be 3, 4, 5 stakeholders with our customers, and even educating the public in segregation, and the government, if we can have our municipal waste segregated at some point and then given to us. We're willing to work with it and give you guys solutions. So we do have the capability to do, recycled resin, at least for your bags. It's not food safe, but like, the other types of plastics, we are able to give solutions in that sense. But we do have that bottleneck where we don't have access to the waste. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you, Ms. Rija Tayyab. My next question will be with Ms. Sumaira Gul. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Dr. Akhtar Hamid Khan Memorial Trust. And I want to ask you, how can the public participation and community engagement be effectively mobilized in promoting responsible waste disposal practices and foster a culture of waste reduction and recycling? Ms. Sumaira Gul, please.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to say thanks the host of the meeting, SDPI, and then with the host permission, want to switch my talk on Urdu. If I think mostly participant can speak and understand Urdu. Can allow me?
We have international participants, so we will request you if you can please speak in English.
So I can speak English, but which I want to express, I can easily express in Urdu, so no problem. So we can, I have heard many discussions regarding the Indus, living Indus, still the presentation of living Indus, and this is a good initiative. And still, I am not able to talk regarding your project because I don't know it is an execution phase, or it is on execution phase, or it is on I think proposal phase. But which your question, I will want to share my personal organization experience regarding 14 years we have been working on waste management, like 2008 to till 2020-24. So we which we come to know that the basically problem is, I think one Rija is mentioned, or some other speakers mentioned, that basically the problem is the waste segregations, and other is the waste resource recovery issues. So on this, we learned in 14 years that basically the all municipalities, waste management companies, one participant mentions the waste management company initiated in KP and Punjab. So I think the main issue is not waste management. Basically, the main issue is waste. Waste collection is not problem. Basically, problem is waste management, because we are just collection waste. Typically, municipalities, companies are doing exercise, collection of waste and transportation of waste and dumping of waste. But in Dr. Tamid Khan Memorial Trust, we have introduced in South Asian model, and we are executing till 2012. In Pakistan, we successfully established in first pilot in 2014, and after 10 years, we have replicated in 10 different cities. And this model is resource recovery model, which can also replicate through in this project. Living in this project, we can replicate in this project, because the real issue is the both side. There are many towns. I think we are not a research-based organization like SDPI. We are a practical model and practical working on liquid and solid waste like 2 decades. So last 2 years, we have conducted 10 to 11 studies of different cities. Both of some cities are on the leeward side, Indus sides. So, but we come to know this is practiced regularly by the government, municipalities, communities, different stakeholders. They are transporting their waste and dumping into the Indus. All rivers, not only Indus, small rivers, channels, even drains and canals. We have fulfilled our water channels with the waste. So, which is going to cause poverty and as well water contamination and different climate change issues. So we come to know that it's need to be critically things. Especially, I would recommend in implement. I don't know implementation partner who is this project. So we are, as Dr. Tamid Khan Trust, and my personal opinion is that, so if we are going to implement it like a very good initiative and very larger and broad level, so it need to be add the practically steps in these projects, which need to be established integrated solid waste management system according to the riversides towns. We also establish a concept note. There are almost 100 plus towns in the both river sides. So we propose and we recommend in that concept 200 integrated resource recovery center, which is one unit is based on 3,500 to 3,500 households, almost 35 to 30,000 population, small pilots. So if we can initiate these like practical steps on the river sides, we can initiate the practical waste collection system, we can develop segregation system and resource recovery, not only waste collection. Already typical municipal system is doing this exercise, collection waste, transportation waste and dumping waste. And with if waste management companies, some participant attending this conference online or physically, this is done by the Prague international firm, which have got the contract in Punjab basement company, especially in Rawalpindi, my personal experience. And some Chinese firms in Sindh, they are also replication, same exercises, collection, transportation, and dumping. Unfortunately, no one took a step to develop resource recovery from waste. My personal experience, we are earning from last 14 years. We have not big donors. We have not UN funding like mega projects. But our bread and butter coming from the waste management system, from the establishing integrated source recovery center in different cities. Like I mentioned, we have established 10 cities integrated source recovery centers. So this is our best model can be replicated in this project, and we are able to share technical assistance from designing, conducting waste characterization studies, research on waste characterization, social and feasible design of these waste integrated resource recovery centers, and also operational. We have experience 14 years to practical to operate these IRIS, and especially sustainable business plan, how to sustain these model. Mostly funded based project we initiate in Pakistan, government level or social sector, development sector level, but 4 years, 3 years, 5 years. I have big list like UNDP have shared many like plus sweep plan have different initiative, different organizations have implemented different projects. Sindh government have implemented Saaf Sutro. In different Punjab, we have still we have World Bank and IDP projects and executing Punjab. But their approach are only project-based approach. 4 or 5 years when funding finished, the project closed and the result is, I think some papers and some research we got results, but in practically we are facing climate change issues like a big flood in Pakistan in last 2 years, 3 years ago. So my personal humble request for all participants, especially who are practically involved in this project, if we are going a such good initiative in Pakistan, which is the good of the Pakistani Indus, living in Indus, both sides, river sides. So this is, we can recommend them for practical steps for waste collections, for resource recovery and sustainable solutions for the best future of not only Indus, living Indus participants, beneficiaries, but also for our country, all country living, you see, Pakistani communities, and as well, if we are facing climate change issue, this is not on Pakistan, this is Asia, and also I think the whole global issue, which is currently even US, America, and developed countries are facing the climate change issues. So we can take initiatives practically, and Dr. Tamit Khan Trust is available here for the supporting these good initiative. We are with you. We are with all those institutions, organizations who took practical steps in this.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a comprehensive insights regarding the challenges that we are facing. But I think your organization is indeed doing a lot of work already. However, I do believe that scalability and working through collaboration is something that's required. So under living in this initiative and also being part of SDPI, being part of this initiative, we are really glad, and we really look forward to you, to Rija, to all other stakeholders for collaboration for managing the crisis that we are facing in Pakistan. So thank you so much for the comments. So Hashim, my next question is from you, and it's about because you are also running a startup. So what role can technological innovations play in improving waste collection, sorting, recycling, and disposal processes in Pakistan, and also connecting with what the work that you're already doing? So yes, over to you.
Hi, hello. Thank you everyone for having me here today. I think what everyone's doing is very interesting, especially what the living industry is doing, because that's definitely one of those needs that's happening. If I look at where the conversation's been going overall, it's mostly around everything's in the informal sector. There's no one really ready to segregate a lot of those things. So since we've been doing this for about the last year or so, we've kind of cracked how the model works. So since people said there's a lot of money that needs to be made in this, I think Honda specifically mentioned that there's a lot of money that potentially people can make. So there's a lot of monetization opportunity that exists. So how we see it is, after consumption, the waste needs to be segregated. The only way people are going to start doing it is Pakistan's technically a poverty struck country. So if we start somehow monetarily telling people to segregate their waste and do it for say 5 to 7 years, which becomes economically feasible not only from that side but from the collection side as well, because you're recycling it and then reselling all those things. So you're technically not giving away money for free for people to segregate. You're actually paying them because you can further add economic value to it and then sell it further. So I think that is one of the steps that we're actually doing for collecting waste. So we're paying people for their waste plastic, and then we take it, we process it and sell it and then make money in between. But for us to scale, I've been speaking to a lot of people, there's a lot of funding that we need to go into a lot of different plastics. other than that, converting all of this into from informal to formal would also have to do with, I think, the government relaxing their taxation systems on what do you call recycling. Because something, if it's gone through the value stream, it's been taxed. Why are we retaxing it when we bring it back into the circular economy? If we want to retax it, we can potentially reduce the amount of tax that's going on to it, because everyone we've been doing business with, they don't want to pay tax, because they say we were going to somehow not pay tax over it, and we get stuck because at the end of the day we go through audits, we need to pay taxes. I think further what something that we can channelize through the government is the EPR, which is the extended producer responsibility. Like we see Jazz is already doing it, and there's a lot of multinationals that are already working on it. But other companies in Pakistan working on plastics and other single-use materials that go back into the environment landfills. So when we have EPR implemented, the amount they sell is the amount they need to somehow collect. And there are people out there who are collecting now. Like Ms. Sumaira Gul said, there is no segregation. So once people are incentivized to segregate and make money of that waste, they will start doing it. So I think that there's a lot of capacity building and there's a lot of governmental change. Um, Giving out policies is not so much until there's a lot of enforcement behind it. We need to start in actuality fining people over not following rules. So I think as soon as we start doing that, startups like me, we want to do a lot of R&D. There's a lot, 98% of the plastics actually can be recycled. Other than the resins which we use to potentially join things, everything else can be recycled. But for those technologies to come into play, there's a lot of support that needs to come in where R&D is done. And I think Zainab was correctly right. We need to stop working in silos, because there is no competitive advantage when there's 49 million tons of solid waste that's being produced. There's enough of the pie for everyone to eat. We need to start sharing, collaborating, and everyone can start doing something and making
Thank
something
you.
positive.
Thank you, Hashim. And indeed, regarding EPR, I think the government is working on it, but I think it will take some time for the government and also for the producers to start working on it. But definitely, that's the key requirement that needs to be put into place, not just for the industry, not but also for the consumers. So thank you for the insights. Now, I'll request Mr. Waleed Hamid. And after Mr. Waleed, he's representing Eco Recyclers. Zile Mariam, I'll be taking your points, and then we have, I don't know if Sahib Alam has left. He was representing WWF, so okay, he's there. So I'll request you to be to the point regarding the challenges in context of how effectively the community participation can be mobilized, and also regarding what measures you think are required to enhance the capacities within the local system that we have, that can support organizations like yours, and also that can support the country as a whole in context of waste management. जी वलीद साहब, पहले आपका comment ले लेते हैं.
Thank you very much for having me here. Pleasure listening to all the people here. Just to give you a brief, this will be our third venture for plastic. Regardless of plastic, we are one of the biggest collectors of PET bottle in Pakistan. We collect around 30,000 metric ton across Pakistan. We recycle it and we make PET resin, polyester staple fiber. WW is well aware of that. We are collaborative partner with Pepsi Cola International, Unilever Pakistan, Tetra Pak, Coca-Cola, Nestle, and now we are working adherently. I'm right here in Sweden, in Italy, for a plant to convert UBC, these milk boxes and juice boxes, into palletizing polyol. So there's a huge potential. There's a huge opportunity to work, and this eco recycler will be the first of its company who will be working on this to recycle refurbished laptops, computers, TVs, radios, and coming by the end of this year. So the potential is huge. The only challenge what you can say is we are facing is we are not adaptive to change. We want someone to do things for us. Anything which wants to be incorporated in a social circle or an organization or a community needs time. So we can do bits and parts of our part, and then we can talk about policies, processes, and initiatives. First, we need to take care of things, what we can give to the community, and then we can talk about the seeding part, the funding part. But as long a problem lies with we before starting anything, we want someone to help us climb the ladder prior researching it, prior doing and implementing it. So the sectors, the major issue is energy. Energy is the main issue, and the other part which is happening is this is in informal sector, but for formal sector there's a huge gap of policy to be addressed. And on recycling, the policy makers or the process makers none of the policymakers knows about how recycling works. None of them have an industry exposure of recycling. May it be Coke, may it be Pepsi. I'm sorry to be being blunt. I'll be very open. So you need to take on board a recycler itself to understand what it goes through. Because recycling industry in world is expensive. Here in Pakistan, we think recycling is cheap. Recycling is cleansing your own your things with a heavy mechanical credentials, machines evolve in it. And we should be subsidized with the taxes because we are exporting our products as well to across Europe, across Middle East. We have export of this year is $4 million, only the plastic flake I'm talking about. And we are exporting our furnishing made of the mixed plastic. We are sending pavers made of this polyethylene PE and plastic bags. So there's a huge opportunity where people with this adaptive collaboration required by corporates with the recyclers, not with the names. And provided the platforms like this public platform, public-private partnership with recyclers is required. So right people should be placed to address the right things. That's from my side.
Thank you so much, Waleed Saab, and you're doing great work, and we hope to collaborate with you on this. Ji, Zile, your point on the same question that I asked regarding what do you think is the need of DR in context of capacities that are required for improving the waste management in Pakistan? Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Zainab. I think living in this initiative is a vision where change matters. So looking after this and all the presentations, I would like to add up that those who say that we can pay back for the waste we purchase and then we recycle and then still we can't make money and we are making money a little bit out of it. And then we need, for scaling up, we need more money. So we have to be very clear for one thing that the waste is produced by the consumer. It is taken up by the waste management companies or the waste pickers. And then it is all gone to the recycler if it's there to recycle. But the major issue is the recycling part is expensive. So if we say that we will pay or we will purchase the waste and then we can recycle it, it does not make that much sense. So we have to be very clear that the waste which is produced, it has to be charged by the company, so it could be recycled properly. Otherwise, you will not sustain as a proper business. If you're an NGO, then only you can support people with this idea that we will pay you for the waste you're producing. And every time we pay them for the waste they're producing, they don't have much vision that this is their responsibility to be more responsible towards what they're producing, right? So if we come to the community side, yes, people do need money. But after having almost more than a decade of experience in this field, what we realized that if there is if the lunch is free, then there's no value. So you have to be very blunt that yes, we are managing the waste and we need money for that. And then do the proper recycling thing. For community initiative, you have much more to do with them. Do the tree plantation side with them with the money you are getting, because the money you are making from recycling after huge investments in the mechanical portion, then you have small portion for neutralizing the carbon footprint you're producing. So in that case, you have the tree plantation side as well. Okay, so one more thing which can be done is decentralizing waste management system in different zones, which really helps people to get rid of the waste they're producing. So if you have only one landfill site, like the case in Lahore, unfortunately, then we face the similar things, what is happening right now. It all stacks up. It does not have the capacity to maintain the entire thing up of the waste. Then they have to shift the entire thing. So it should be decentralized. Collaborate with the companies, build more material recovery facilities. Go for the PPPs. So Rija was saying that industrial waste is entirely processed. I do not agree to this. So one type of waste is processed or recycled, but the other type of waste is not recycled, or it is dumped. It is dumped by the people, those who pick up the waste, just take it away to make money and then just throw it away. So we have to be very clear what sort of waste we are talking about. So the different directions and how the best possible practices are there globally as well, which we can implement here in Pakistan.
Thank you so much, Zila Mariam, for the intervention. Before Sahib Alam, I would request Dr. Mohammad Ziad from the Waste Management Department, Peshawar, for your interventions, please. Over to you, Dr. Mohammad Ziad. Dr. Mohammad Ziad, can you hear me? You're on mute. Okay, I'll request. I think there's some technical issue. I'll request Sahib Alam for his interventions, please.
So thank you, Zainab, for having us here today and the events you already have done in the past. So as from WWF Pakistan, we have been working with different stakeholders, like including the recyclers and producers, as well as the community level with the consumers. So working with the recycler, I think there is a major issue with the recycler to have the limited resources and the collection system infrastructure in Pakistan in the because we have only in Lahore the infrastructure that only 60 to 80% waste is being collected, and other cities like small cities, Multan, Dili Khan, other small cities, there is no infrastructure to be collected the waste. So the major topic in this discussion is integrated waste management. As Ms. Sarah Gul stated, we first focus on the community level and the small societies in the city level. We first have to establish the integrated resource recovery system that will focus on the proper collection and the resource reduction. We can reduce the waste that is the more than 50% of the organic waste that could be reduced by converting them into the compost, as Mr. Akhtar Memorial is also doing on the practical. We can develop the IRCC system on the community level and the different like cities that waste can be collected through the infrastructure. And second, instead we have to focus on the retrieval or the collecting of the waste. We can like focus on the R&D system to provide the opportunities to entrepreneurs and the small scale like uh, we can support the research student from the academia to develop the locally designed system to focus on the waste collection and their resource recovery. After that, we also can focus on the upstream approaches. Like we like have been working on the with the different corporate sectors. We can make them like their packaging that could be more environmentally friendly. We can also develop the eco labels in the packaging. I think these major issues are linked with our integrated waste management system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sahib. With this, I'll come to Mr. Sajjad Ali Kandhi from Pakistan Red Crescent Society. So I want to ask you that how can public participation and community engagement be effectively mobilized to promote responsible waste management and disposal practices and foster a culture of waste reduction and recycling?
So thank you very much, Josefa. So for this purpose, I think the one portion which we are missing is to mobilize the youth and volunteers, because in PRCS, we are mobilizing the youth towards waste recycling. Even in Islamabad, in different sectors with the support of CDA, we have engaged our youth volunteers who have provided awareness at the household level, because what we think that the mainly issue exists at the household level, because we don't even find the waste segregation bins at the household level. So and the from where the problem actually starts. So we at the PRCS, we mobilizing our youth volunteers who are providing awareness at household levels. They are among those households. So we are providing training opportunity to them. We are engaging some waste management companies. We have Saaf Suthra Share, solid waste management recycling company. So they have signed MOU with us. They are providing awareness to our youth and even our staff. So we have established a waste recycling station at PRCS level and have installed waste segregation bins at PRCS premises. So we can reduce this problem by mobilizing or by engaging the youth and also the school children, because at school levels we need to provide these awareness to our children, because these are the generations who will face or who are expected to face major problem or the major causes of the impacts of the climate change. So if we are providing them awareness that your contribution can bring a major change in future, or the problem which you are currently seeing in the shape of high floods and other disasters, so you can contribute this in this way. So providing awareness to the children at a school level and are integrating it into the education system and to mobilizing the youth, I think we can also reduce this problem.
And thank you very much. Now I'll come to Mr. Manzoor Ahmed, who is from Gilgit-Baltistan Rural Sport Program. Sir, first I want to ask you that what measures are required to enhance the capacity of local authorities with regard to the management and planning of waste management? And also GB Rural Sport Program works with community a lot. So I want to ask you, what How effective has community mobilization has been in this regard for you? Thank you.
Hello, assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to talk about the waste management in GB as in particular. And I would like to say that GBRSP is in the process of community development, keeping in mind all aspects of the life. Especially, I am dealing with the climate change, and we are in the process. And on the other hand, we were partners in the plastic-free approach applied in Gilgit city. And that was, although we were partners in that initiative, but I was personally not in that, and where we contributed in making the Gilgit city plastic free. So up to my understanding, it is utmost necessary to take people on board before taking any initiative. And if you consider them while decision making, then the next part, the implementation would be very easy for the people who are in this process. So I feel proud to mention over here that the people, especially the community of Gilgit-Baltistan, is quite mature as compared to rest of the Pakistan. As different institutions and organization has been working there since long. With these solid waste management, although we are rural areas and we don't have much dumps of these solid waste, but we think that it would become a problem for the whole province. Gilgit-Baltistan Rural Support Program is in working in collaboration with the Environmental Protection Agency of Gilgit-Baltistan as well as with the community. So we think that our speciality is in community development. We can take people on board, and we can educate people, we can aware people, and with this approach, we can resolve the issues at rural level. But on the other hand, I must say that the policies and the guidelines must be there, and those should be taken to the community, and community must understand what these policies are, because those are the people who deal with these wastes. So I think if the policies and guidelines are in compliance with the needs of the people, with the thinking of the people, then it would be quite easy to manage these issues instead of taking things, deciding things, sitting in a room and just taking to the people, and the community will never own that. And the most important thing is to develop ownership on any initiative you are going to take there. The ownership, if the people, you able to develop the ownership of the people, the community living in the remote areas as well as in the cities, then your half work would be, I think, done at the time when you take the people on board. So these are the approaches we already doing, and Gilgit-Baltistan is in this regard is the maturity of the local community is quite high, and if you take such initiatives in front of them, they not only cooperate, they just become part of that initiative. So this is what we are doing there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, community ownership is very important in managing the plastic waste effectively. Now I'll come to Mr. Sadat Ali from Project Procurement International. I want to ask you that what policy reforms are needed to strengthen the regulatory framework and compliance for solid waste management in Pakistan? Thank you.
First thing is after the 18th amendment, the environment is in the provincial subject. So what is happening is that one environmental protection agency says that the polythene bag should be of 70 micron, whereas other provincial agency, even 7.5 is acceptable. So there is a need that there should be some uniform policy for such issues in Pakistan, uh, then the implementation of the different policies can be better on. In addition to that, I myself drafted the Pakistan Solid Waste Management Guidelines and Strategy, which is in the draft form in 2005. Up till now, there is no, it has not been officially accepted, but now everything is changed. But there is a need for these solid waste management strategy guidelines so that the municipal corporation can benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. GBRSP is being represented here. We do know that some of the corporations are working in GB to tackle the challenge around plastics, and also ecotourism is being affected because of the plastic waste that is being accumulated because of tourism. So, sir, your interventions, and then I'll request Dr. Suleri for his comments. Over to you.
I already mentioned that, let me say some more words about the solid management in GB is in a way we were part of the plastic free cities. And I was personally not part of that exercise, but I think that being having more than 20 years of rural development and sustainable development experience, I must say that before taking such decisions, you must have some alternate solutions for these plastic free if you want to make the cities plastic free. So when I saw there that they imposed the ban on plastic, and I saw nobody was going to work in compliance of that particular initiative. So I said earlier that before taking such decisions, making the city plastic free, you must have the alternate solutions. How people why people should adopt that policy, and do you raise the awareness in the community since long, or how much the people aware of the side effects of this plastic, and what type of plastics are there? So many there, but you should educate the people, you should aware the people. You means we all have the responsibility to let the people first know what are the side effects or the dangerous effects of these plastic use, and how and why the community should avoid using this plastic. For that purpose, you have to give the alternate solutions. So I saw that we tried, and we were also part of that, and I admit that failure was there, and it was only because of people were not knowing about what you are saying, why you are going to free the plastic, and why, what is the alternate solution for that. So these were the issues we faced there, and we saw there, and the same I think would be in the rest of the country. So we must consider the things, the facts, the real facts in mind before taking such things, implementing such things. So that would be a wise decision, and taking things like this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the intervention. So just on a lighter note, the other day my mother was asking about, that Eid is coming, and so the shopkeepers are saying that they won't be selling the single-use plastic. How are we supposed to store the meat in refrigerators without plastic bags? What is the alternative, right? So to that question, I was, unable to answer her because the alternatives are not readily available in the market. So before the closing remarks, Dr. Honda, if you have any reflections on today's consultation.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I learned a lot actually from everyone, because to be honest, I always first check the information on the website nowadays. I do rely on such information, but normally solution is being found on the ground. So today was one of that point that I could come here today. I could meet you. That you shared possible solutions. Then in coming year, hopefully we can initiate a project. Then you can support actually us how to implement a project to combat those issues with your solutions. Then while we integrate our solutions, we may be able to find another innovative solution that the majority of the Pakistan general people would like to have their own hands. So hopefully we can continue working together to combat our mutual issue on the environmental, in particular waste management. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your inputs. And indeed, it has been a constructive dialogue seeking solutions and opportunities to address the pressing issue of solid waste management in Pakistan. I will now request Dr. Abid Qayyum, the Executive Director of Sustainable Development Policy Institute, for his closing remarks. Sir.
Thank you, Zephyr. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, my apologies for not being able to join you in person for the whole round of this very important discussion. But I can assure you that this is one of the issues which is quite close to STPI's heart, and we have been working on it. And that was precisely the reason when we heard of Dr. Honda's scoping mission that you will be visiting Pakistan from International Environment Technology Center of UNEP. We thought that STPI should organize such a broader consultation to provide you with some of the first-hand thinking and way forward challenges that are being faced by stakeholders on this integrated solid waste management practices in general and plastic in particular. Now, STPI is a secretariat to one very important coalition, which is our network on circular economy. And that network, along with the SMEs and some smaller scale organization to big industries, many of them, they are a member of this circular economy. And we have been trying to come up with suggestions, some doable, pragmatic suggestion for waste management, particularly plastic management. And one of the learning that we learned through this network is that our reliance and dependence is mainly on informal collection as well as informal disposal of solid waste. Now, turning this informality to a formal sector, that is a challenge, and that's where we want to go. And I remember last year I was in Tokyo, and while having discussion on this solid waste management, professor, he told me, he said that I can't understand the problem in Pakistan. You are an energy thirsty country and you are a waste abundant country. So why don't you convert your waste into energy, and two of your problems, those would get resolved. And to do it, we were discussing about this solid waste management and waste to energy programs of Japan. And his suggestion was, and he was a quite frequent traveler to Pakistan. So his suggestion was that simply focus on turning your waste into energy, and you will be able to tackle two problems. And I think this is quite doable, and we need to think about it. Second, on plastic use, we are also a member of a network of multinationals, which is the Core Alliance. And Core Alliance is focusing on responsible production and responsible disposal of waste, as including plastic. And again, in the alliance, one of the questions that is asked again and again is about single-use plastic. What's the alternative to single-use plastic, and how efficiently and quickly and cost-effectively industry can adapt to it. So I think the first part of journey, which is identification of problem, that is very much there. The second part of the journey, that something needs to be done about it, awareness and realization, that is very much about there. Even the third step, that actors and stakeholders, academia, private sector, government, all of them, they want to, they don't shy from working together. And that is also very much there, that this collective will and collective wisdom to do something about it. Now we have to take a quantum leap in order to materialize what we have been thinking. After making this diagnosis, after resolving that we need to do something, after bringing all the actors and stakeholders together, now I think we need to map our strengths and map the missing links. So each one of us sitting in this room, they come with their inherent strengths in this sector. And each one of us, we will have some prerequisites or some requirement that are needed to turn our potential into opportunity and into that strength. And I think that's where UNEP's role is quite crucial, and UNRC's role is quite crucial to actually provide all the stakeholders with something that is missing. It may be international best practices. It may be linking with the funding agencies. It may be doing things differently. It may be technology transfer, access to new technology. And if these things are there, then government would have to, one additional thing that it needs to do is to monitor and regulate not only the plastic waste generation, but its recycling as well. And that would complete this jigsaw puzzle and complete a whole picture. So, as I said, that STPI, through its convening role, through its research, through its advocacy and awareness, and through its networking with different stakeholders, we would very much love to be part of solution. And we look forward to your report that you will be writing. And of course, one would like to see that report getting materialized, some of the recommendation, so that we can pragmatically adopt them. Thank you very much once again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abid, for your closing remarks. With this, I encourage each one of you to take the conversations we have had to back to your respective organizations and communities, and to continue the dialogue and the collaboration beyond the confines of this workshop. So once again, thank you so much for your participation, your passion, and your dedication to the cause of integrated solid waste management in Pakistan. Let's keep the momentum going and work towards a brighter and more sustainable future. The refreshments have been served outside, and once again, thank you very much for coming and giving your time to us. Thank you.